Welcome to Coffee to Kellyco. Today we're going to be talking with Dave, one of our own from Kellyco, and we've got some exciting things to go over and share with everybody today. But let's start, Dave. How are you doing today?
Good, Carolyn. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Excellent. It's Wednesday, halfway through the week. It's also Cinco de Mayo, so we're getting tacos today,
It
of
is.
course.
That's what I'm having too. Exactly.
So it's going to be a fun day. So we've got a few things that we're going to go over today and some exciting news, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. And in fact, I think I've hinted at it a few times of things to come, and it's coming to that point now.
Absolutely is. So before we get started on all of that, how's everything going at Kellyco with you? How are sales, and all that sort of stuff? Just your everyday
It's
still
it's.
enjoying what you're doing?
I am. It's really enjoyable. And I love the people. Like I said, I always try and make it fun. So if I I try and joke around a little bit to keep it light and airy. So
Yeah.
most people get my humor. Some people don't.
All right. So I was just kind of trying to stall there for a moment because my computer to get this thing up and running this morning kind of crashed. So I've got everything going, and I think we're ready to kind of talk about it. So what's new, Dave? What do we got going on? What are you leading up?
Well, one of the things that Jeremy and I spoke about when I was hired was my law enforcement background and my interest in expanding Kellyco into that realm of law enforcement and crime scene investigations. And so right now we're set to launch our new CSI page. It's going to be law enforcement specific, and we're gonna have things on there not only for law enforcement but for metal detectors in general.
That's awesome. I'm excited about that. When's the launch date? When are we going to be doing this?
We wanted it to be kind of special, so we're gonna roll it out during Police Week. It's gonna be May 15th during National Police Week.
Awesome. And we got a lot of detectorists that do a lot of different things out there. We go on recoveries, we help the community, we help police departments and things like that. So, what's in it for the average detectorist?
Well, I developed a what we would call a volunteer forensic detectorist training course.
Hmm.
Basically, that's for those that want to help law enforcement or those that are currently are that would like to know a little bit more about search patterns and what you can and cannot do at a crime scene. We would like to make it so when people show up to do the assist, that they know what they're doing, they feel confident in what they're doing, and they don't feel like a fish out of water without understanding what's expected of them.
And if somebody, one of our viewers or something like that, wants to partake in this volunteer,
Hmm.
program to learn a little bit more, what would they need to do?
We're going to have a banner. I'm not exactly sure because I'm not a tech guy as far as websites are concerned. We're going to have a banner. We're going to be able to have them click on this information to bring up the course. It's not a lengthy course. It's basically, like I said, it covers the do's and don'ts, explanation of search patterns, and basically how to prepare for court if you need to testify if you're brought in. So it's going to be the course to go through as like a PowerPoint presentation. And then at the end of the course, there's going to be a 10-question quiz. Upon passing the exam, we're going to send out a recognition certificate of completion that can be printable, and just it's something nice to have. It's something to back up your experience.
Absolutely. So I've seen the little PDF that you've designed, and it's pretty nice. I mean, I like just having different credentials and things like
Hmm.
that, just to show, because sometimes it does help when you're out detecting, or if a police department calls. We get a lot of calls at our club, and they ask for specific people that have gone through our search and recovery program.
Hmm.
So it does help out having that little
Yeah, and it lends
certificate.
credibility. Yeah, it lends credibility to your testimony. If, like I said, if you do have to testify in court,
Hmm.
that not only not, and it's not an accredited course. So it's
Right.
not something that we're going to say, you're a professional forensic detectorist, but it does say that you went the extra mile. You took extra steps to better your craft and participate in something.
Awesome. And well, when we're launching this new program, I mean, ideally, you're going to be working a lot with different law enforcement agencies and things like that.
Mhm.
Are there any new products or anything that we're going to be adding to the Kellyco line?
We're trying to make it a one-stop shop for this portion of crime scene investigation. Obviously, we're not going to go into fingerprint kits and crime scene tape and all kinds of castings and all that, but we wanted to make it, if a department needs a metal detector, they can come to us. We can steer them in the right direction, explain how it works. Um, and along on a side note of that, we are developing a certification course for law enforcement, which is going to be much more intensive, much more in depth. With our hobby detectorists know the machines, they know the words, they know the terminology. A law enforcement doesn't. They put these in a case in a closet, and sometimes they bring them out, sometimes they don't. So we want to make it a simple, friendly thing for them to use, that they're not intimidated by, that it actually gets used. And so, again, one-stop shop for law enforcement. We have added some evidence marking items, as far as arrows, flags, flag carriers. We have a sketch kit, which is going to be basically for anyone on scene that needs to diagram the scene, measure it out, and mark where the evidence was located. Let's see what else. Oh, we're working on some new swag.
Okay.
I've been working with Barrett on developing some new decals. I think we have a shirt mock-up and a hat mock-up, so we're hoping to get those things up and running. Those are going to be pretty cool. I already did a mock-up on my vehicle where I'm putting those stickers.
Mhm. Absolutely. And I mean, I know that you said that we're working on a more intensive training program for law officers,
Uh-huh.
that you're going to be rolling out, just training. What would something like that, just I know we don't have it all lined out or anything right now, but what would something like that look like?
It's going to start off with your basics. It's going to, we're going to dissect a metal detector, go over terminology, coil, basically from the top to the bottom, inside and out. So when an officer has to testify that they use this thing, they know what parts of the detector do what the kilohertz of the detector is, what it is and what it isn't. Basically starting off right there, and then obviously we would go through search patterns. Their end wouldn't need to be as in depth about how to handle evidence, because they've already had that training.
Right.
So it's going to be realistically how to handle a metal detector. If we can make it possible, we'd like to do some hands-on. We worked with Garrett doing some training. We had a lot of fun with some of the training techniques that Gary came up with. So we're hoping to carry that forward, working with Garrett as well, and making it a real good, legitimate course.
Absolutely. Now, what agencies is this going to be focused on?
We've already had interest from local, state, and federal.
Okay.
So we're hoping, like I said, we're hoping to make this the number one training program, of this kind in the industry.
Absolutely. I know that I've got some friends that were corrections officers even, and they would use their metal detectors in between the prisoners going out to
Mm-hmm.
the yard to look to see if anything was hidden or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
Right.
it could be as far as police departments, corrections, anything like that. It'll really be beneficial and helpful for them to understand how the technology works and what equipment's right for them.
Yep. And also, I've had interest from schools for walkthroughs and wands. There's a real easy way to do a short, yeah, because we call it a training series. We're not one and done. I'd like to do this, for whatever. Well, let me finish that thought first. So even like school security, we can do a program for security at the schools and teach them, how the walkthroughs work and how the wands work and what you can and cannot do when you're checking students and students' belongings. So like I said, we would like to keep this thing going in different courses. So we'd love feedback. If I can get feedback saying, hey, this is what I do for a living. Your CSI would pertain to me in this way. How can I incorporate some training into that? So I'd love to be able to introduce new training as we go along as well.
Now, is this like Kellyco thing, and what credentials are behind it?
Actually, well, as this rolled out, I became the director of CSI and security for Kellyco.
Mhm.
That's based on my involvement in this program, but I'm also retired law enforcement. So I was in law enforcement for 22 years. I've done everything from street patrol to community patrol to evidence unit management. I was the evidence unit supervisor, became a platoon supervisor. So I have the background in law enforcement. I've done the courses in search um, and testimony and crime scenes, crime scene investigation schools, and I metal detected as a hobby. So when it came to a crime scene, and I let my department know that we didn't have a detector at the time, and when it came to crime scenes, if we needed to use one on scene, I would bring mine in, and I would go over the scene with mine. So it gave me an opportunity to combine my past career with a hobby and develop something new, which I'm really enjoying. And like I said, in coordination with Kellyco and Garrett's expressed a strong backing in this, and has given us a lot more information and support. So it's nice to have that as well.
Absolutely. One of the cool things that we did, and you kind of briefly mentioned it, was when you were doing the training with Garrett.
Hmm.
Gary Pensa developed kind of like that obstacle course that we've talked
Yep.
about, and that was a lot of fun
Yeah, it
that
was.
Gary did.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely something that can be incorporated into a training with a department or an academy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, anything else on the program that you want to cover?
This is a personal experience for me. I was out um, hobby detecting when I was living in Florida, and I came across a park that I thought this would be interesting to do. So I started metal detecting the park, and on my way out, it was a lot of trash, nothing really great. So on my way out, I always do it. Walking back to my car, I just keep going, and I get to the entrance to the park, which was between two fence posts, and I got a good signal, or at least a strong signal. So I dug that up, and it turned out to be a spent 40 caliber uh, round, spent bullet round, or spent bullet. And I found it interesting to be in a park in the middle of a neighborhood. So
Hmm.
I went home, did a little research, found out that they had a shooting there, a homicide. And so I contacted the detective involved and submitted that as evidence. Um, so that, to me, being a police department and having someone just randomly come across a piece of evidence that you missed on a crime scene just doesn't look good. So that's what I'm trying to avoid that. I'm trying to teach this so that we can get, even if they don't want to have the detector themselves because they don't feel comfortable, they don't feel they need it because they're not big enough, they can reach out to volunteers to come through and do a crime scene. I mean, to leave evidence lay without doing a thorough search just doesn't make sense to me. So I'd love to see each department have them. We have budget friendly ones will do perfectly fine. We have things that are waterproof. We have a wide variety of detectors. So anything within the budget, we're looking at the training. There's no reason why we can't have each department doing thorough searches and really taking advantage of the equipment.
Now, you mentioned that you have like low end detectors, waterproof detectors. Are
Mhm.
there any certain detectors that you're focusing on for this program?
I like the CSI models of Garrett. In fact, I brought two of them home just to review them myself. And so I have the Garrett CSI 250. I had the Garrett CSI Pro. I've brought home the Pro Pointer 2 pinpointer. And I have the one of the Garrett security ones. So things that I'm playing with, and I want to make sure that I have every aspect of these down before I put it into a training program. I don't want to be the guy that's just reading off the manual and not actually know how the thing works. So
Right.
I'm pretty much dissecting it myself. But yeah, and the Garrett Sea Hunter is great for underwater. I mean, if you need to dive, if you need to go beyond 10 feet, you have something that's going to be waterproof. I was going
Now,
to ask you, the THD. I don't know if those are still in production. The mini wand that the officers can carry on their belts.
I'm not sure. That's something that I would have to reach out to Garrett and double check with to see.
Okay, because I thought those are excellent tools for doing especially now with the state of law enforcement, with everybody going hands off. These little the small little wand is a great tool as well.
Absolutely, I agree. Now, what's the difference between the I know you said the CSI 250 and the CSI Pro. What are those detectors similar to?
Actually, they're very similar to the Ace 250 and the AT Pro. The Ace 250 isn't waterproof. That's going to be your most budget-friendly detector. The difference between the two mainly is your ability to go through different modes and your faceplate. It's the 250 and the CSI Pro. I'm sorry, the CSI 250 and the CSI Pro have different faceplates where they're designed for crime scenes, where it actually tells you lead, copper, brass for your signals. So my personal feeling on that is I would rather testify in court that I was using a professional tool designed for the crime scene investigation as opposed to a hobby detector. And it kind of gives you a little bit
Absolutely.
more credibility, gives you a better, you can say, hey, it showed up here on this target ID, which was indicated, lead. So I knew it was possibly a spent round, or you say, hey, well, it showed up where the pull tabs are, so I just think it sounds better if you can, coordinate that as well.
All right. Well, it sounds like we got a lot going on, and I'm really excited to roll this program out. If anybody watching it is part of law enforcement and has any departments that have any questions or anything like that, may need to get some equipment, or if you're interested in the volunteer forensic detectors program that we're going to be rolling out, how would they contact you, Dave?
Once this, well, my personal line is 855-293-5001. But we should be having a chat feature and a call feature on the website or on this web page that should come directly to me or be rerouted to me. So I'll be happy to talk to anybody, answer any questions I can.
Absolutely. Well, I'm really excited about starting this program with you. I think that you're the most qualified on our team to do this. I know that you're very passionate about working with law enforcement. So I think this is going to be a great thing for the community and for detectorists themselves. Um, any last thoughts or anything that you want to add?
I don't think so at this point. Like I said, we're expanding. And it's one of those things where, what is needed, and again, the feedback's gonna generate which way we go as far as what added products we bring in. So we're early on in this, so I'm hoping that as we roll out a little bit further, I'll get more feedback, we'll get more products, and this will grow. And I'm just hoping that this works out and we have a lot of fun with it.
Absolutely. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with it, Dave. Well, I know that's about what we had covered for today. I know today's your day off, and I pulled you in to help me out on the Coffee with Kellyco.
That's okay. Glad to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So next week we're gonna have another special guest. So if you guys like what you're seeing, be sure to like, comment, and if you want, share so other people could see Coffee with Kellyco and we can continue doing this. Until next week, you guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.